Good evening, CSUSM EDU 16. I want to go over a couple things to make sure you're clear on what is due. One of the things that I got to tell you that I laugh at a little bit is I see Caitlin's post that says, "Attention all candidates, your PLN for Jeff is due Monday." Yes, Monday. Thank you, Taylor, for figuring this out. One of the things that I've prided myself in is always being available. If any of you has ever emailed me, called me, or texted me, I've gotten back to you probably within like an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I've always been very accessible, but I'm always amazed that so many people are so used to the typical world of the student-teacher relationship where you don't really communicate. So just so we're clear, from here and this point forward that I will always be available to you. You can text me even if I'm in Saudi Arabia and I get your text. I will send you a message back as soon as I can. If you have questions or something you're unsure about, I will be there for you. I've been sending emails for the first few weeks, checking on your progress, and then I sent you an email, I believe 2 weeks ago, saying I'm completely available on a Monday if you need anything. And I believe it was Caitlin herself who actually got some virtual help, and I didn't hear from anyone else. So I just want to be clear that when I say that I'm available and that I'm totally willing to help you with anything that you need, I honestly mean it. One of the things that we're talking about for the PLN is, and everything you needed was given to you at the beginning of the semester, and it was given to you, I'm going to go to a live version of this. It was given to you as this here blog post for your hanging out badge. For the one unit that I have for 521, it was a series of tasks for your PLN. And you had a link, and I believe we did this pretty well early on in the semester, is you had a link to the hanging out badge criteria sheet, which you were to fill out at your own pace, and then you were to have a peer give you feedback, and then you were to, once that had been completed, then you will submit it to me. And I even said in the email that I sent a couple weeks ago, I said, whenever you finish that, the sooner you submit it to me, the sooner I can get feedback to you in case there's anything that you need to revise. And so I did have, and I didn't notice it because I normally set up a notification system that tells me when I get responses. I did get it, Katie submitted hers, Katie Johnson, on the 18th. And I definitely did not know that happened until I looked a couple days ago. But I did communicate with Katie, and she gave me permission to share her work with you so that it will help the rest of you understand exactly what it is that I expect you to have completed. Now, I had said I would give you to the end of the semester to finish this, and I believe the semester ends on Monday, which is your last class, which is why when, actually I heard from two people today, both Katie, another Katie, and Taylor about the expectations of when this was to be complete. And I said that Monday would be sufficient. So my goal is that Monday should be the date that you give me at least, the first submission of everything being complete to the best of your ability, ensuring that your peer has also agreed with that. And then to the best of my ability, if there's anything that you are missing, I will do my best to look at your work, utilize the comments feature of the criteria sheet, and to give you feedback if there's anything that you need to fix. And so I know that I need to give my portion of the grades to Dr. Stahl probably sooner than later. And so I will confirm with her, but I believe if I'm asking you to have it in by Monday, I will try to spend my evenings giving you feedback so that if there's anything you need to revise, you can submit it to me and I can look over it again up until Friday evening so that I can get her the grades then. So hopefully that will work out for all of you. And so this is what it looks like when you fill out this form. And remember, don't fill this out until that you have finished the criteria sheet to the best of your ability, and you have at least one peer who has given you feedback confirming that it is indeed ready to submit. And so you will give me your last name, your first name, the person who gave you the peer feedback. You'll give me a link to your website and a link to your completed checklist. And it comes into me in a spreadsheet that looks like this. And I get the timestamp of when it was submitted, and this was Katie's. Tanya gave her awesome feedback, by the way. I have a link to Katie's website, and I have a link to her completed checklist. And then, because this is a spreadsheet, this is what I love about Google Forms. all the data goes into a spreadsheet. I can then go in and modify the spreadsheet. So I always put first name there because I tend to lose who the person is when I'm gone on over here. And then I will do, is the badge earned, yes or no, and then there's a comments feature, and then the date of the first review, the second review, the third review, etc. And then this actual document is made public to you. I will eventually, Katie has given me permission to share, but I will eventually hide the checklist from you so that you're not looking at each other's checklists. But in this case, I definitely want you to look at this checklist so you can get a feel for how I would give feedback and what my expectations are. And you can see here that on our Google Plus community, I have a link to the badge criteria feedback, which should link us right to this spreadsheet. And so if I pull up Katie's website, I can see here it is here. I have her first page. And more importantly, I have her criteria shared with me. And so you see that she has her peer comments here. And I have gone over Katie's work. And a couple things that I want to point out that I really like about what she did. My expectation for you is that when you complete things that I need a link to your evidence. So Katie was a little bit redundant in this first column here where she gave me a link to her landing page here and put the evidence here. Either way is fine. So you can either give me a link to the expectations, which would be the checkboxes. You can give me a link on the last column, or you can link right inside of the expectations piece. Either way is fine, but this is exactly what I want. So in this case, the why school, the visitor resident, the knowledgeable, knowledge able, and then the rethinking educations, those should all be separate links so that it's very clear for both me and the peer that's giving you review that you have done each of the expectations. And so as you can see, she's got feedback. I'm using the comment feature. If you're ready to give a comment, you can simply click in an area. You can right click and do comment here. Or if I'm clicked in an area, I can go up here to insert and I can choose comment from here. So either way, that's how you can add comments. So you can see that Tanya's given feedback and Katie would have the choice here to either accept the feedback. She could click resolve here. I give her feedback here. What I love about the comments feature in Google Docs is that it creates this threaded discussion that we can continue to have throughout this document. And even if these were to be resolved, they would all be housed up here in the comments feature of Google Docs. So if this is something you were doing with kids, I just love this particular tool so that you can continue to give feedback and you can have a conversation inside of the document. So I would say 94% of the work that Katie did was absolutely outstanding. And there are a couple pieces of revision, and it's not a big deal to me. It's just something that needs to be completed by the time the grades are due. And so her homepage was spot on. The landing page was exceptional. She has an About Me page, which was great. Her PLN blog page. What I really liked also about her landing page is she not only had the link to the class Twitter list, but she also linked her research, which was a Pinterest board, right on that home page. So you can see it right here. I really like that. It's just up front. Here's the feed of what she's working on, and here is the Pinterest board. And so that was completed. One thing that I noticed that she made a mistake on that maybe some of the others may not be clear about is the expectation, and two things I want to point out is that there is a separate link to a very clear step-by-step sheet on what the reflections are and how to do them. So that is linked on the left-hand column. And where I saw the mistake that Katie had made is she mistook the visitor resident and the knowledgeable knowledge able as the rethinkings 1 and 2, and they are two different things. So we had the Y School reflection, which I had asked that we had completed by the first week from Will Richardson. And then the visitor resident from Dr. White and the knowledgeable knowledge able from Dr. Wesh, those were separate. Those were required for everyone. Everyone had to do Y School, everyone had to do visitor resident, and everyone had to do knowledgeable knowledge able. Then when it came to the rethinking education, my expectation was that you did 4 video reflections. 2 from my list, required, and you had choice of that list. And then 2, you could have done either 2 more from that list, or you could have gone out and found 2 of your own videos. But it should be a total of 4 rethinking education. And where Katie misunderstood was she must have, I'm assuming, thought that visitor resident and knowledgeable knowledge able counted as rethinking 1 and 2 when they were separate. And so she included for rethinking 1 through 4 the 2 actual article reflections, which were separate. And so what I should have, so she did the Wiggins reflection, which was a guest post, by the way. Some of you credited that article to Wiggins when it was not his. It was a guest post. And she did the redefining teachers. So those were 2 separate writing reflections. And so notice that I left her with 3 and 4 open that need to still be complete. But I think that was just a simple misunderstanding, and I clarified that in the comments. So if that was a mistake that you made, that's exactly the kind of feedback you would get from me. But thanks to Katie, hopefully none of you will make that mistake from this point forward. And then in the Twitter chat, and I'll actually pull that up because her Twitter chat was really nice. One of the things that I expect you to do in the Twitter chat is that you're storifying it. You're bringing in tweets that explain, the questions of the chat or how the chat resonated with you. But one of the things that is required is that you then use the comments feature inside of Storify to tell me why you chose those. And you also need to be very clear about the date, the time, the moderators, and the questions of the Twitter chat that you participated in. So I can see here that she did the Inland, for some reason a lot of you did the Inland Empire chat. She did this on writing across the curriculum. I'm not sure on what day it was. All I see is that it was on Monday at 8 p.m. I don't know which Monday that was, so I asked that to be clarified. And if there were moderators, when did that, who were the moderators? So as she has 39 she has some non-linguistic representation. She's embedded the tweets with some of the questions and answers, which is awesome. But one of the things she's missing is that piece where you actually reflect on why did you choose these tweets. It could be a single tweet or it could be a series of tweets, but you need to make sure that you reflect on why you chose those tweets. And in the guidelines for the Twitter chat, I have many examples for you, and those examples show you, I'll just pull up any random one. Ulysses, any example shows you that the chat needs to include also your own reflection on why you chose those tweets, how they resonated with you, etc. So hopefully this comes up quicker than later. My internet's been a little slow. I love the internet. That should make it work. So notice he's got some text here as part of his reflection. He's got some video that he's included. He's got the topic, etc. But he's using the text feature to explain why he chose those tweets or just to reflect on the actual topic. And so ensure that your Storified Twitter chat has not only the tweets embedded in it, but it also has your reflections. And it doesn't have to be for every single tweet. It could be like if a couple tweets are related and you want to reflect on that later. It doesn't have to be every tweet, but it should be a number of them. And so those, quite honestly, were the only 2 mistakes that that Katie made that she has revision to do. Everything else was spot on. She has her Pinterest board. It showed continuous research throughout the semester, which is something I ask all of you to do. And when you go down to her, she was very involved in the Google Plus community. She in Twitter, and what I will do with each of you is I will look at the number of tweets, the following, and the followers that you have, and then I will look through your tweets to ensure, as was expected, that you were participating and sharing throughout the entire semester. So you can see as I just scroll through Katie, and she had more than enough tweets, but they're evenly spread out throughout the entire semester. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. I can look at the dates, I can look at the, and that's what each of you should have. And so she was spot on with that, and that's exactly what I needed to be. Everything she needed to do for the Twitter as a Connected Educator, she did. One of the things that she gave me a screenshot of her tweet deck. I noticed that I only saw the left column, which was pretty much the home, the announcements and the activity kind of thing. Make sure that if you have extra columns, as you should for your topic area, for the course, that I should be able to see that in the screenshot. I'll pull hers up real quick just to show you. And I can tell that there's more to it. I'm just not seeing the whole thing. Oh, she already did. I gave her feedback, and I see that she's already revised from my feedback. So as you can see, this second snapshot was not there, but she added it. So this one ended right here. And then she's already revised based on my feedback, and she gave me the columns for her, where I can see that she has English chat, English social studies chat, Inland Empire chat, and poetry. She has all of those columns in TweetDeck. So make sure that, thank you, Katie, make sure that when you do that, that you give me examples for all of that. But her Twitter was exactly as it should be. So when she says she's met the PLN requirements and Tanya gave her really good feedback, I just simply said, see comments above, some minor revisions necessary. So as you can see, she already took care of that Twitter chat, and she also has some small revisions to do. But none of that, that's expected to me, that we don't do this perfectly the first time, that there may be some revision to do. However, thanks to Katie, hopefully some of you can catch these errors before you might submit this to me by Monday. And so she's, like I said, 95% done. Her app smash is not only completed, but it's embedded on her blog. And so that's exactly as it should be. And then she's given me the final checklist of she's done it. She submitted her work on the badge criteria form. Notice I've even given you a link there. She shared the criteria document to my Gmail account, not my Cal State account, which she did. So that's exactly as it should be. So I hope that between what you've already known and what we've just gone over here, that this should be more than enough for you to understand exactly what the expectation is for you to submit by Monday. Now, I've given you Monday as a loose deadline, but again, the earlier you submit it, if you submit it to me, I will try to get you feedback right away so that you could have this completed. I know some of the type A's probably want this done before Monday, have it wrapped up and in the bag. Some of you that may be a little bit behind are saying, thank God we have until Monday. But remember, even if you submit it to me Monday, there still may be the opportunity for you to revise. So let me know if you have any questions. I know this is kind of long, but I wanted to make sure that it was clear. And I want to thank Katie again for allowing me to share her work. And I'm going to leave this linked for those that want to maybe take a look at this in the next couple days. And then I will eventually hide this column from everyone, because I don't necessarily think everyone wants their work and feedback shared. So thank you, Katie. And thank you, CSUSM EDU 16. I really think that collectively, you're doing an outstanding job. I really like watching and reading your the Google Plus activity that's going on. You're very connected. You communicate with each other, I think, fairly well. So you should be commended for that. And I look forward to some fun work that we will do in the spring. And remember, the spring, we're going to try to get most of this work done in a series of, I think I was told 8 weeks, 9 weeks, so that you can spend all of the time from spring break on working on your TPAs. So hopefully things are going well for you. Please, please, please communicate with me in any way, shape, or form if you have questions or concerns, and I promise you I will get back to you. If not, be awesome today and every other day from this point forward, and let me know if there's anything else I can do to support you.